Morning everybody, and welcome along to another Shearer Smokes. And you join me on a rather beautiful November morning. The sun is out, we've got blue skies. It is still quite chilly, but there's no wind. So it's a perfect day for filming, perfect day for a nice stroll and nice pipe. And now, as you may have noticed in the top of the video, it looks like somebody else has the same idea. And this is currently being used as a film location. Not sure what it is there, what it is for, film or a TV production. Not sure. I'm going to try and find out, and I shall update you when I can. Yeah, but it's looking quite interesting. I rather like the look of their camera stands. Yeah, a bit more professional than mine. But anyway, where are we? Well, I'm in the town of Stirling, and you would have noticed maybe at the top of the video the Stirling Castle as we panned round the cemetery. This cemetery is known as the Valley Cemetery, and it is part of the Holyrood Church. Now, Holyrood comes from another word for cross, and it was named after a relic of the true cross, supposedly. Now, so some interesting sheer historical facts. So the original Holyrood Church was founded in 1129. In 1405, sadly, it was destroyed, as with much of the town of Stirling at that time, by fire. In 1414, work restarted on building a new church, and by 1530, the church as it stands now was completed. This Holyrood Church in Stirling is one of only two churches in the UK, working churches, where coronations have been held. Of course, the other being Westminster Abbey down in London. In the background, as we pan round, you'd have seen Stirling Castle. I'm going to keep that for a future episode, as that deserves a bit of an episode on its own. But what I'd like to point you out to is the pyramid behind me, and it's known as the Star Pyramid, also known as Salem's Rock, although I'm not exactly sure, can't find any facts on why it's known as such, but I know no witches were involved in the naming of it, but yeah, it's rather an interesting structure, and we'll go and have a closer look at that right now. So that was a closer look at the Star Pyramid, built in 1863 by a local businessman who helped fund the project. He also funded quite a few other of the statues in and around the Valley Cemetery. The purpose of it is to represent the martyrdom of people who suffered through their religious beliefs during the turbulent times of civil and religious liberties in Scotland during the Reformation. And an interesting statue depicts a young lady who was drowned at 18 because of her Protestant faith. She was drowned in the Solway Firth, and although she has no connection to Stirling, the benefactor thought it was fitting that she should have a place here in the Valley Cemetery, and here's a wee clip of that video. Now, I would like to draw your attention to one headstone that always grabs people's interest. I remember bringing my two daughters here when they were younger, and we did the ghost walk. And if you ever get a chance to come to Stirling, then I highly recommend you do it. Some great stories, as you can imagine, some grisly goings on back in the day in old Stirling town. And this is the headstone in question. So of course the scene that's depicting is the art of body snatching, and the headstone belongs to a certain Mary Stevenson, who died in 1822, November, funnily enough. And 2 days later, after James McNabb, the actual gravedigger who buried her, he then promptly dug her back up and sold her on to a local doctor for dissection. Anyway, the caper was rumbled, and McNabb was promptly arrested, and Mary Stevenson was then reinterred and a new headstone put in place. Speculation as whether that was some kind of warning, may have been, but anyway, thankfully she was, as I said, laid back to rest and left in peace. As for James McNabb, he was arrested and then sent to trial. Now I did find out that the trial was abandoned due to some legalities. A riot ensued. Not much is known after that. I'm guessing it all kind of died down pretty quickly, and he probably, I would imagine, would have left Stirling town, probably going to Edinburgh to start his career there. But as you look around, there is some amazing, and as you know by now, I do enjoy my rambles through the old churchyards, and some stunning work on the headstones and statues, and it's just a nice little ramble, especially on a day like this. And got some really interesting viewpoints with the castle in the background. Got Wallace Monument further past the pyramid there, and yeah, just the old part of Stirling is really interesting. But what's more interesting is what I'm smoking, and it is of course my Peterson system standard 314. And what's in the bowl? Let's take a look. So what is in the bowl? Well, it's another fine sample from my good friend Gary, Holden in the Way. And it is the Watch City Nor'easter. And there's a lot going on with this blend. So what do we have? Black Cavendish, Burley, Lakatia, Perique, Virginia obviously, and Oriental stroke Turkish. And it all seems to work together. The initial aroma when you open the jar, there's a kind of nice smokiness, almost a kind of stewed fruit kind of sensation going on. I've been rabbiting a little bit, so I'm going to have to do a quick relight, excuse me. But it all comes together really, really well, I think. And I'm no expert, obviously, but I really like it. And it is very fitting for this kind of morning. A nice, crisp November morning. It seems to burn quite well. I've had to do a wee relight there because I was obviously chatting away, but yeah, that is very, very nice. I like that. I like the fact it comes in a crumble cake, and the sample that Gary sent me actually does still have, if I'm able to show you, some nice bits of cake that haven't been fully rubbed out. So now I did a bit of research, and I know that some people said that they kind of rub it out fully, others just leave it in bits. To be honest, I did a little bit of both just to see, and yeah. And it's quite easy to pack, so this is nice. And it's going down really well with my hot chocolate. That kind of smokiness and sweetness, yeah, it's very, very enjoyable. And I think it works, as I said, on a morning just like this. So I hope you've enjoyed this little trip to the Valley Cemetery. I shall be coming back to Stirling to visit. As I said, there's 3 exceptional sites I'd like to visit and take you with me. One of course being Stirling Castle, the other being the Wallace Monument, and the third one being the Old Stirling Bridge, which was the scene of a very famous battle. So that's to come in future episodes, so I hope you stick around for that. Until then, my name's Shearer. Enjoy your smokes.